If Ryan Coogler's new movie Sinners is not a box office hit, then I've lost all faith in humanity. I really, really have. Let's review it. Let's review Sinners. Sinners stars Michael B. Jordan, Haley Steinfeld, Jack O'Connell. Miles Caton and is directed by Ryan Coogler. What is up, guys? Welcome to a brand new 2025 review. We're going to review the brand new Ryan Coogler movie, Sinners, with Michael B. Jordan. You put those two together, then you can't lose. Michael B. Jordan and Ryan Coogler, they're just a great... It's like Scorsese and DiCaprio. You can't go wrong with that team up. And Sinners proves that Coogler, he likes to step outside of his comfort zone and try different genres. And here he's doing horror with a vampire movie. And I think you could compare every vampire movie to other vampire movies. And sure, if you were to really reach, you could definitely compare this one to From Dusk Till Dawn. Maybe even a little bit of 30 Days of Night. But also, it kind of puts one foot in horror, but it also puts another foot in like a blues drama, much like Crossroads from like the mid 80s, which that's one of my all-time favorite movies. I love that movie to death. People don't talk about it enough. Maybe it's the musician in me. But that freaking guitar showdown at the end of that movie is the stuff of legends. But yeah, this one does kind of pay homage to the blues and like Robert Johnson and, you know, the early 30s, 1930s when this movie supposedly takes place. So let me back up a little bit and give you guys a quick plot synopsis, and then we'll dig into how amazing this freaking movie is. At the very beginning, you got this character by the name of Sammy. He's a young guy. He's a preacher's son. He just bursts into this church. He's got these freaking scars on the side of his face. And then the movie takes you one day before. So you find out how that all happened. That is the very beginning of the movie. This will be spoiler free. Don't worry, guys. I'm not gonna like spill the beans or anything like that. But if it's the opening movie and it's like setting the table, then yeah, I'm gonna tell you that stuff. And I think that's a great way to start a movie because automatically the audience is locked in. Okay, how did this happen? Why is this character so disheveled and he is physically wounded? How did we get here? And then, oh, it's just one day before is when all this mess happened? Yes. And so right away, I was just freaking locked in. But Michael B. Jordan is our star here. He is playing Smoke and Stack, two twin brothers. They are just coming back to Mississippi from Chicago. They worked under Al Capone, and they want to open up a juke joint. You know, that's real simple. They come back. I think they just maybe miss home. They've done everything they could do in Chicago. But yeah, they want to open up a juke joint, and they want to dance and have fun. But eventually, you have this vampire clan, and I do mean the word clan. They show up at the juke joint where there's already a big party going on. And a big part of this movie, as far as vampires go, is the whole getting permission to enter. And I love that they really focused in on that. And I think what's cool about this movie too is it doesn't try to reinvent the wheel too much in terms of vampires. I think there's a little bit of creativity in there as far as the lore goes, which I won't spoil anything. But it does have to do with like music, with blues music. But this movie does spend a good amount of time really getting to know Smoke and Stack and how different they are as brothers, you know, all the way down to the way they are dressed. But really quickly, Michael B. Jordan does such a great job of distinguishing these two characters from each other that you automatically know who is who. And I love that because there have been twin movies where sometimes I have to like stop and do a double take. Which twin are we on right now? And I never really had that with this movie just because of how different they are and also the people that they mingle with. Stack is the more business-oriented guy. He's dressed better, whereas Smoke is more of a roughneck. And, not the guy that you don't want to tangle with. But I think if anybody is going to complain about this movie, and it ain't me, I loved every freaking second of it. I loved the pacing of this movie, but I can see, and I've already seen how some people stated that it does take a little long to get to the meat of the vampire action. I think it's payoff. I think once you get there, it's a nice long segment, and boy, does it get really bloody. And I actually saw something online where Ryan Coogler was highly influenced by the song One by Metallica. And that just freaking blew my mind because this is a freaking 1930s Delta blues type movie with some blues music in it. But there are moments in like the vampire action where you do get sort of like a rock inspired type score. But pacing wise, when you think of that song One by Metallica, and a lot of my metalheads and Metallica fans will know what I'm talking about, there is a certain pacing to that song. It does start off quiet. And by the time you get to the end of the movie, it's just complete and utter chaos. And that's really what this movie is. And I think that's just so cool when a director is inspired by music, so much so that he kind of forms a whole movie out of it. Like, I don't know if he got the idea to make a vampire movie out of One, but maybe he already had the idea for the movie, and then somewhere along the way, because, you know, storytellers do this, they're inspired by everything around them, especially music. Hell, I get inspired by music so much when I'm like exercising and running, and it forms like video ideas in my head constantly. So I can totally understand that. And maybe he was looking for the rhythm of this movie, and when he heard One, automatically that rhythm came to him. Now, as important as Michael B. Jordan is in this movie, I think there's another character, the one at the beginning of the movie, Sammy, played by Miles Caton. I think he is just as important. I mean, he's kind of the guide that we're following throughout this movie. He is very young, and Michael B. Jordan takes him under his wing, Smoke and Stack. And this movie definitely has some like sexy moments. As Smoke is taking him under his wing, he's even like kind of guiding him as far as like, I'll just say satisfying women, okay? Yeah, this movie's definitely rated R, by the way, in so many different ways. Haley Steinfeld was a really interesting character as well. Seeing her really step outside of her more clean-cut type image that she has in a lot of her movies, she definitely shows more of her like adventurous side, I guess, even like dirty side. This is just a very, you know, it's a vampire movie, and you get that in vampire movies, right? If there, you know, we have vampire movies where it's just a straight up creature feature, and they're brutal, kind of like 30 Days of Night. But then sometimes you have the sexy vampire movie. This actually checks both boxes, which is really cool. It is sexy, but it's also graphic and violent at times. Now, I have to definitely commend Ryan Coogler. He is one of those directors today that no matter what he puts out, I'm there day freaking one. I just love the way he directs his movies, you know, to get right down to it. His movies just feel sort of like epic in nature. I think as a fan of his, I feel safe watching his movies. Like, okay, I know that this guy knows how to handle a story, how to block a scene, how to handle characters. You know, he does it all. And I think he is one of the top directors working today just because of the confidence that the guy has. You watch some movies and you can see that the director is maybe not that skilled, and there's definitely potential in there. And so oftentimes, if those movies are good, we can still kind of poke holes at certain elements just because the director might be a novice. But with Coogler, oh my God, he makes sure that every I is dotted and every T is crossed, for lack of a better phrase. When I think of him, I think it kind of reminds me of what Fincher was when he was first starting out. And I know that's big shoes to fill, but I don't think you'll doubt me that much with Coogler if you have been following his work. He is a phenomenal director. And I think he always brings something new to the table too with every one of his movies. And so you find yourself like waiting, like, okay, what is Coogler going to dazzle me with this time in this movie? And sure enough, he does in this one as well. Loved the IMAX presentation. Definitely see this on the biggest screen. The sound was earth-shattering. It's especially for like a music-driven vampire type movie. You definitely want to see this in a big theater. And look, guys, I have no idea how this movie's going to do. You know, the box office is so unpredictable lately, and it seems like the movies that you don't think will do that great end up doing amazing just because of certain conditions, like, say, kids' movies. Kids' movies are huge these days. But, you know, there's just so much uncertainty, and I think there are great movies that come out that kind of just get passed over. And if that happens with this movie, I probably wouldn't be that surprised given the current age we're in. If this movie came out 10 years ago, it would be a sure hit. There would be no question. This movie will do freaking gangbusters. It'll do $50 million its opening weekend. 10 years ago, that would have been a sure thing. Now, I have no idea. This movie might make $10 million, and I won't be surprised. But it is easily the best movie of the year. And it'll be shocking to me if anything tops it. And I know I definitely speak in like hyperbole sometimes with you guys, but I mean it with this movie. This movie is phenomenal. So I'm giving this a Trapped on an Island for sure. It feels good to give that rating. And this movie earns every bit of it. I'm really into black cinema right now. We just had freaking Woman in the Yard, and that one was phenomenal. And that one was directed by Yome Colette-Serra, which obviously he's not a black guy, but it's a predominantly black cast. That's sort of what this movie is too, with a black director. But, you know, it definitely has that urban flavor to it as well. And I dig those movies, you know. It's just a very well put together film. And it's refreshing, if I'm being honest. So, yeah, not a bad thing to say about this. This movie's phenomenal. Let me know what you guys think of Sinners in the comments. Looking forward to hearing your thoughts. Also, be sure to come over to Killer Flicks, where we talk horror all day and every day. And on Fridays, we do Free For All Fridays. Follow my Drumdums on my social, support me on Patreon. Become a channel member, buy me a coffee. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a good day, and Drumdum out.